Made it, went in.
Yeah, hit the net, so did she.
I don't know, well, at least in the boys program, I don't know if that's gotten much better, has it? For the parent, the whole
Yeah, it's
reaction thing.
Yeah, it's been better for us recently, but a lot of the families that were issues are not there anymore.
Yeah. Oh, this Jalen Johnson
Yeah,
thing.
how about that?
And then Krzyzewski is defending him, and
Yeah, you know, I think there's a little. My gut tells me he's doing that because he needs to for
yeah.
his own
Oh,
recruiting.
sure.
And for all
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
I would think if you got him behind
But
closed doors with a.
you talk about not a team guy,
Oh,
huh?
yeah. Well, you can see by the way they're playing
Oh
now.
my gosh. Yeah, right.
I mean, they've been
Right.
pretty hot as of late.
He's really good.
Oh,
He's
yeah.
Good evening, everyone, from Sun Prairie East High School. It's time for the alternate season for WIAA girls volleyball. Up first tonight, a non-conference matchup between the DeForest Norskies and the Sun Prairie East Cardinals. Great to have you on board on KSUN. Along with Scott Nelson, I'm Jay Wilson. Well, this has been a year like none other in high school athletics. Last fall, 339 teams competed in the girls volleyball season, what has been known as the regular girls volleyball season. But a number of other teams, about 150 of them, opted to do the alternate spring season. That's where we are now, and Sun Prairie and DeForest are getting ready to start the alternate season, as it is known, in the spring. And Scott Nelson, you have a daughter on the Sun Prairie team. What's it been like for her and the Sun Prairie team in general in this weird kind of setup?
Yeah, great question. I wish I had an answer for you. Yeah, it's been tough, right? The girls have wanted to play, and thankfully recently they've been able to probably get at it with club volleyball starting up, and slowly but surely, especially right around here in Dane County, things have started to loosen up. That's been a great thing, and I know that after she's been now, I guess, a full week into practice with things, and with the girls in general on the team, they're excited about having the chance to play, and more or less really excited to be together again with that team atmosphere and camaraderie. And my daughter's a senior. There's a number of juniors on the team and one sophomore, and it's great when you have a chance to get back together and do something that you love to do. Well,
at the start of any sports season, be it football or basketball or whatever, you always hear coaches say that first game, boy, we never know what we're going to get. But I think for this first game, you really don't know what you're going to get.
Yeah, the arm swings, right? Is your approach right? It's all the things the little nuances, right? Where you normally have a little bit of time during August, typically, right, of a week or two, and then you have some scrimmages and all that. Like, again, it's been going for a week, and boom, lo and behold, here they are playing their first game. And but again, that excitement, that little bit of nervousness, it's pretty neat to see that in your own kids, and certainly when you get a chance to play when it was really uncertain in the fall what was going to lead to. But yeah, that not only for the players but also your coaches, right? That uneasy feeling in this first game of what are we going to really see out of our kids.
Well, you see the teams getting ready to start the first serve of this alternate season. DeForest on the left side of the net in the purple and gold, and Sun Prairie on the right in the black with the red letters and white trim.
And we will do our best to get the numbers right with the feed that we have. I'm sure it's hard for you all at home, but we will do what we can.
Of course, these are two of the more successful volleyball programs historically. Sun Prairie, in their last action in November of 2019, they were at the state quarterfinals, where they lost to eventual state champion Arrowhead. And DeForest, and then their last action in 2019, they were second place in the Badger North Conference. And historically, well, two schools, no matter what the sport, historically are usually at the top of their conference and pressing for state playoffs and sometimes state championships. There's a kill for DeForest to start out, and the Norskies take a 1-0 lead.
A lot of action there, probably not some great passing. Coaches, like, they put your head in your hands and you shake your head a little bit, and but I would guess through the course of play here, we'll see that get cleaned up.
DeForest coach Scott Schumann says one of the strengths of his team this season he thinks will be serving, so we'll see if that plays out here early in the first set. There's a back row hit that's a little long, and that'll even the score at 1 apiece.
It's always fun to watch volleyball back and forth, Jay, right? Because every single thing counts. There's a point on every single play, which is different than basketball. You miss shots and football, etc. But this is exciting. Every single rally matters.
Well, there's a net violation. That's going to be a point for Sun Prairie. So the Cardinals have their first lead of the young season at 2-1. Well, back in the old days, before rally scoring, my gosh, some of these, it would take about 20 minutes to get a point sometimes because you had to score off the serve. There's a strong serve for Sun Prairie, handled though by DeForest. Play at the net for the Cardinals and sent back over and down for DeForest and the Norskies. Convert there, that's Natalie Compy. She's a 5'7" senior, and she's a good one.
Play up for the net for the Cardinals, Peyton Adink was up there, and very tough. She's long, can get to a lot of balls that are way far away because of her length, but that was really tight to the net. Makes it awfully hard for a pass to get it where one of your teammates can hit it over.
And there's going to be a service ace for the Norskis. So they're back now in front.
Both coaches, I think, between Coach Schumann and Coach Rantala, really preached those mental errors, those hitting errors, right? And how important each time it is to put the ball in position where you can get a good pass and strike.
That was Megan Elvekrog, the libero for DeForest, making a big dig there, but that's going to be into the net and a point for Sun Prairie. So the Cardinals even this first set at 3 apiece. And back and forth so far early, neither team able to string points together. Service error, so it comes right back to the Norskis.
Back and forth we go, right?
Yeah.
You wouldn't think that at times like this can be a game that between rallies and points that can be somewhat slow, but holy cow, there's a lot of action in a short amount of time.
Ellie Doucette in for the Norskis to serve. She wears number 34, and her serve goes into the net, so that's a point for Sun Prairie. And our back and forth first set goes back to even.
I think that's Cora Luban that just checked in, now serving for the Cardinals.
And serves it right to Elvekrog, the libero, and a big swing for the Norskis. Compy, and the Cardinals can't handle that one, so point DeForest.
Sometimes you get caught flat feet watching the ball go around, right? That was a great set to the middle. Nice job on the approach. Got up nice and high and hammered it home.
Compy's one of 3 seniors that Scott Schumann's going to depend on. You have 7 seniors on the roster, but Compy number 3, Elvekrog number 1, and Morgan Hahn number 32 are 3 seniors that will be very involved for DeForest as this season progresses. And now 6-4, the Norskis. See if the Cardinals can get something going here. And that's going to be a net violation on Hallie Runez for DeForest. So point Sun Prairie to make it 6-5.
Nice attack by Peyton Addink there, outside hitter. She's been starting as a sophomore for the Cardinals, so has 2 years full of experience and player that's going to head up to Minnesota Duluth soon.
And a beautiful shot off the slide by Sun Prairie.
And I believe that was Avery Antoni, the sophomore on the Cardinal team here. She's a really good basketball player, overall athlete, but nice job on the set and great attack.
And that's going to be double hit, I believe, double contact, or maybe it was a forearm or something. But anyway, it's going to be point Sun Prairie, so now the Cardinals take a 7-6 lead. Wasn't a clean hit, I'll tell you that. Quick set handled by Sun Prairie. Now the Norskis will try a set, and a big swing through the block is a point for DeForest.
Being in position, looking for the attack by the opposing team, right? That's a tough thing, and Sienna rolling again. Sometimes early in the season, you get caught flat-footed watching what things are happening. You really want to be moving and anticipating those strikes when you get a chance to do that. Big swing by DeForest, and she was just a little bit late to the party. But she comes back with a big kill of her own. Reese
Yoakum had that last kill for DeForest, but as you say, Sun Prairie answers that, and our tightly contested first set continues. It's now 8-7. The home team leading. That's Abigail Eiselt with a kill for DeForest. And even again, 8-8.
Neither team can really string anything together, right? If you get a 2-point lead, next thing you know, you got side out, and then the point comes back, and just back and forth with an even match.
2-point runs, the max so far in the first set here. Little back set there, the timing a little off. Now let's see if DeForest can regroup and gather. And there's a good save by Sun Prairie. And a quick hitter over the top, Izzy Grothaus for DeForest will get that kill, and the Norskis go back up front 9-8.
Quick dig by Cora Luban and heads up play by Lily Shelfepper, the setter, to get it over, but DeForest on the attack the whole time.
Sun Prairie will just have to send it over again. DeForest trying to set something up, and well, it worked out well for Groothuis again as she gets another kill, and DeForest has its largest lead of the first set, 10-8.
Changing out the volleyball.
Great dig there. That was Sam Schumann, I believe, for Sun Prairie, but that shot long, and the Norskis get another point, 11-8. Well, we were wondering who was going to get some traction here. It looks like the Norskis are the ones that can
They got a little momentum for
put a
sure.
little run together here.
See if the Cardinals can answer.
Good block there, keeps the play going for DeForest. Now Sun Prairie with a chance. Big swing there, dug out again by DeForest. They go back to the far corner and play at the net. Another great save by Elvekrog for DeForest. This is our longest point of the match. Great rally on both sides. Great dig by Sun Prairie, but then it falls to the floor, and that's going to be a point for DeForest. And I think, again, that was Reese Yoakum on the outside for the Norskis.
You see in the lower right of your screen, Coach Rantala constantly working up there and teaching. And again, a lot of the little nuances, right? Where you need to be in position, footwork, attacking after the ball. The ball is down. You got to dive, get on the floor, whatever it takes. But constantly teaching and reminding those girls what they need to do to be successful.
Great play at the net. Great kill for Sun Prairie. That stopped a 4-point run by DeForest to make it 12-9. TJ's mom, Judy's watching tonight, I know. Her husband, Ken's watching tonight.
Yeah, their daughter, Piper,
Yeah.
is kind of the team rally, right? That she's always around volleyball, but just a cute little thing. And the girls love her to death, and I'm sure she's struggling not being able to be around this group this year.
12-9 DeForest, first set. Big hit from Groothuis, that time handled by Sun Prairie, and then a response. That's in. Great back row hit by the Cardinals.
Nice job that time of communication and adding first gets the dig, and then they puts it back right to the setter. And Shelfepper does a really nice job of setting it behind the 10-foot line, allowing her to attack from the back row, and drops it in the far left corner.
And that one's in. Service ace. Beautifully done.
It's always nice when you have your setter, right? That they can go back there and kind of place the ball around, and Lily does a great job of being able to move it around. She's deceptive with how things are, but boy, she's a competitor herself.
5'8", junior, Lily Shelfepper. And boy, she is on a roll now, huh?
And ties her back up 12-12. Just blink your eyes, and lo and behold, we're tied again.
3-point run making a 4-point run now by Sun Prairie, answering the 4-point rally by DeForest. That's Yoakum. Plays out of the middle there, but just as successful from her left outside position. Tipped out by Sun Prairie, so point goes to DeForest. It's 13-12. And that one finds the floor as Groothuis gets it from the outside to give the Norskis a 2-point lead. Another thing you'll notice that the players are all wearing masks, and that has to be a bit of a challenge.
Yeah, I would guess, right? And I think a lot of the girls have played in the like a fall league or that have been doing club. I'm sure they've been wearing masks, but yeah, once you get your adrenaline up and you start breathing heavy, that's not a fun thing to have to fight through the mask as well.
Block at the net, but it gets through as Tyra Anderson hit it through the block of DeForest, and it's a point for Sun Prairie.
Doesn't always have to be a huge swing, right? The power attack that way. Sometimes just a little bit of touch throws the defense off just enough to let it drop.
And that serve off DeForest and out of play, so point for Sun Prairie. Back to even, 14 apiece, first set.
Back and forth we go.
If I misidentify someone, by the way, just jump right in there.
I'm getting closer and closer to the screen to see what.
Everybody at home is getting closer to the screen too. And that served a little long past the baseline, so 15-14 DeForest. And it'll be Elva Krog, the 5'4" senior, to put it in play for the Norskis. Blocked at the net. Beautifully done.
Looks like that was Compy on the block as well. Tyra Anderson, again, just where the set was, just had to position her feet and didn't really get the attack on the jump that she wanted.
2 in a row off the serve of Elva Krog. Good defensive play there by the Norskis, and that one's out. It'll be point Sun Prairie. 16-15, Norskis. Roadhouse got it over, but Sun Prairie makes the play. Good dig by Elva Krog, almost in self-defense. Now Sun Prairie with a chance. Blocked at the net.
A little bit more size out there for Sun Prairie right now. Avery Antoni in the middle gets blocked, and you hope the people from the back, right, are working themselves into position as the ball dribbles over. But nice hit, great block. Sometimes you just have 2 really good plays and it didn't fall your way.
2-point lead for DeForest. First set. And that's a violation. It'll go for DeForest. So point Norskis, 18-15. And that one's blocked out.
Nice strong swing by Adink there, and again the block is there, but just was able to hit it on the outside, and then you get the reaction off the arms and dropped out of bounds.
Sun Prairie serving. And a great shot there at the net. Gives the Cardinals the point.
That's one when you watch film the next day, like, we'll just watch this play and let it go through because it wasn't pretty on either side, but it still counts for one for the Cardinals. But yeah, that's one that you scratch your head as a coach.
And that's a service error. That's going to go a point for DeForest. So they're 19-17 here, first set. Of course, DeForest out of the Badger North Conference. Sun Prairie out of the Big 8 Conference. And everybody's conference schedule is a little wacky this year. But as you say, Scott, it's great to see people get a chance to play. I think Elva Krog had a little mishandle there. Yep. So 19-18 the score. DeForest still with the lead first set.
I think I saw Peyton Adink back there on the serve now. We'll see if she can get a little run going for the Cardinals.
They'll just play it across as Compy gets it over. And that's going to be a Sun Prairie point as they win the battle at the net once again.
Good communication between Shelfeffer and Antoni on that one. Just a quick set right in the middle. Antoni that time sets her feet, gets her attack going at the net, and really hammered that one home. The one before, she was just a little bit sideways and out of position, but that one was a nice finish.
Well, Sun Prairie, as we mentioned, their last appearance in girls volleyball was 2019. What a year they had. 41 wins, 9 losses. They were second place in the Big 8 to an undefeated Verona team, and then made it to the state tournament, as we said, losing to eventual state champion Arrowhead in the state quarterfinals. And T.J. Randall and her staff have done just a wonderful job as Sun Prairie is really not only a power in the Big 8, but a power in the state.
Yeah, and that's really come on really in the last 10 years, roughly, where it's been consistent that way. And their kickoff to that whole run in state really was the conference tournament, where they won that, even though Verona won the regular season. But they got a lot of momentum going, carried that into regionals, sectionals, and then obviously in state. And if I'm not mistaken, they took a set from Arrowhead at the state tournament,
Correct.
And it was the only team to do that in that tournament run that Arrowhead had. So they had a tremendous player, I think, that was going to Notre Dame, and boy, could she hit. But really fun to watch when you see the girls compete, right? they just get after it. I love the enthusiasm after every point, and you see them come together, just refocus, reset, and then off they go.
Little communication error there by Sun Prairie, and DeForest now up 20-19. Of course, 25 is the magic number to win the set. You can win it by a couple of points or more. Off the DeForest serve, Sun Prairie, a little back set, and that's out, just wide of the sideline. 21-19.
And Sun Prairie calls a timeout, feeling the importance, right, of this time of the game, and both coaches. First, Coach Schumann settles his team down. They come back out. They get a point. Now Coach Rantzler comes, and you see her there again, teaching and coaching. So that's her setter and Lily Shelfepper. Here's what we need you to do. Here's a position. Here's what I want you to do. And you are controlling the court. So you need to really communicate with your team out there. And just reminding her just little coaching points of what her expectation is and the ability that Lily has. And that's really what you need out of your setter. It's almost like your quarterback, your pitcher, your catcher, right? Really controlling the situation as much as you can. But what her ability is really predicated on a pass, right? If she has to run after it, it really throws off the system that they're trying to run.
Last time these two teams met, August of 2019 in the Sun Prairie Invitational, the Cardinals won that match 2-0.
A lot of scrambling off camera deep into the corner. Sun Prairie went to get that, but strong finish by the Norskis. A lot of movement there, a lot of running after that ball for the Cardinals, and really never got back into position defensively.
Another kill for Reese Yoakum. She's been pretty effective this first set. Yoakum, 5'10 junior. Makes it 22-19. DeForest trying to close in on a first set win. DeForest been pretty solid defensively. And there's a big back row hit for a point by the Norskis. That was Natalie Compy, the senior.
Back row attack, the timing of that has to be perfect, right? Your jump has to be perfect. The position of where you strike the ball has to be perfect. And that time she drove it through two Sun Prairie defenders, and that's not an easy thing to do. So there's a power behind that hit there.
DeForest 2 points away from a first set win. But that time, Sun Prairie has the answer.
Sienna Rowling comes back, and again, you got a strong hit, so do we. Let's go back and forth a little bit here, and 3-point game. And again, it doesn't take much to rally back and tie it up and hopefully take the lead for the Cardinals, but DeForest has played really well down the stretch here.
That stopped a 4-point run by DeForest. And that time it's the Sun Prairie defense coming up, denying Yoakum on the outside.
Really good position, sliding over for the block. Two defenders up, timed out perfectly. And even though you're taught not to really take a peek at that, like where are they positioned, but boy, that's a lot of arms to try and hit through.
Well,
look like a double hit there.
Yep.
Timeout DeForest.
23-22 we are. Wow. I tell you what, we said you never know what you're going to get in the first match. This has been pretty good so far.
Pretty entertaining, yeah. Not clean all the time, right?
Yeah.
You kind of expect that, just like any first game that you have. But you're seeing the girls compete, which is the best part of it. They're trying as best they can. The coaches are teaching a lot. They're still basically having practice, right? Again, 1 week worth of time isn't a whole heck of a lot to really formulate the team like you want. So there's a lot of things going on and a little bit of momentum. You get a little excitement going, and Sun Prairie, we got the momentum. Let's keep this. Let's keep the serve. And DeForest is like, okay, we got to dig deep here and see if we can get that ball back because we're only 2 points away. We get the ball back, it's serve for game point. So really critical point at this time.
Okay, Sun Prairie serving, trailing in the first set 23-22. Big point here. Eiselt can't get the kill.
They called out the line judge.
Oh, yeah.
The ball, as it came over, hit the antenna. I saw Adding point up to that as she was coming from the back, and sure enough, the line judge had his flag raised. 23-23. Great play defensively there by Sun Prairie. Back row hit handled by Elva Krog for DeForest.
Now here's Yoakum. She's denied. Play at the net, still alive. And then it falls on the Sun Prairie side, point to DeForest, and it's set point for the Norskies, 24-23.
Nice dig by Haley Winter to keep that point going, and then Haley and Cora Lubon there, and just again communication, speaking to each other, calling somebody out. Both of them went for the ball. Not a great pass into the net and side out to DeForest.
A Norski point gives them the first set, and that's blocked out. So the Cardinals keep it alive, 24 apiece.
Again, a good strike by Sienna Rolling. This is a big front line now with Tyra Anderson, Rolling, and Maggie Alleman. Probably one of their better front lines that they have.
That's 5'9", final 11, 6 foot. Oh, that's a nice play, but that's a great dig by Sun Prairie. I think that was Tyra Anderson. Another good dig. That one by Haley Winter. Boy, this is one of our better points of the match, and it's going to be a Sun Prairie point as that one goes off the block and out.
Well, you got Shelfeffer in the back row. She gets it. Comes back to Haley Winter. Winter sets it up for a back row attack by Adink, who puts it deep on the line, and that's the point for Sun Prairie. And you got the leg up right now. This is do or die for DeForest, and it's put it in and win for Sun Prairie.
Well, DeForest had a set point. Now Sun Prairie gets a chance at one, and there's a tip, and it'll be a point for DeForest. So the Norskies stay alive and even it at 25.
Sent that one deep on the pass, right? So on the server return, and this one goes over. Sun Prairie's trying to kill and put it away and just drove it too deep.
And that's a well-placed shot. I think that was Grothhouse for DeForest, one of their seniors, pushing it to the far corner. And it's set point for DeForest in a timeout.
Sun Prairie timeout again. Critical point here in the game. You go from being up to set point to now being down, and just in the blink of an eye, right? It doesn't take much.
Yeah.
But you got to win by 2. And so, again, communication by coaches. What do we want to come out with? Communicating with your assistant coaches. And for Rantala, Janelle Richard played up at UW Green Bay, so it's nice to have those experienced people around you, and they've been coaching together now for quite some time. So I'm not as adept with the assistant coach and Coach Schumann over at DeForest, but usually you have people of like mindset, right, that you're thinking the same thing, and so you can just look at each other and nod, and you know that, that what you're thinking is exact, and then it's just a matter of getting the girls to buy in and believe.
Okay, out of the timeout, it's DeForest 26-25 in the first set, and the Norskies have the serve trying to close out the first set. And here we go. Anderson will just have to get it over. Now at the net, a little stuff shot goes for Sun Prairie.
The accuracy and things, again, we've talked about this, probably be a broken record all night, but the pass, the digs, is it getting where you need it? And a few times we've seen Sun Prairie, that time DeForest, just gets a little bit too tight to the net, and Sienna Rolling, again, jumps over the top, no interference at all, and drops it down for the point Cardinals.
And that's a serve mishandled by Elva Krog, so Sun Prairie gets the point, and now another set point for the Cardinals.
And Rolling's got the hot hand. She dropped that little touch shot over the net. That was her serve, and might as well ride it when you can. See if you can get one more for the Sun Prairie.
It has been an entertaining first set of this alternate season, and how about that for good fortune? Rolling serve hits the tape and falls down, and Sun Prairie wins the first set 28-26.
Well, you talked a little while ago about, like, in the old days, right? Just back and forth up to 15, and you got it, like, well, back then too, right? If it touches the net, you're done, right? In this case, and sometimes that takes just enough off to get it over that front row, drop it in between the returners on the back row and on the DeForest side that time, and it's so frustrating because you see it and it's like one of those things that's slow motion. You can't get to it fast enough, and a big break for the Cardinals there to take set one.
Scott Schumann, we mentioned, is the head coach of DeForest, and a lot of volleyball fans know a lot about Scott Schumann. He took over as head coach at DeForest in 2017, but before that, he coached Waterloo to Division III state championships in 2014 and 2015. He was at Waterloo for 10 years. Had 3 Capital South Conference championships, 2 trips to state, both of which resulted in championships. And DeForest, in their last action in 2019, they had a pretty good successful season as well, as they were 24-14 overall, 5-2 in the Badger North. That tied them for second with Beaver Dam behind the conference champion Wanakee, which was 7-0. But you know, we're almost 2 years removed from that, so
Right.
it's hard to say how much of that can translate. They were senior dominated then, but we've seen some good play out of some of their seniors like Compy and Elva Krog and Isel.
Much like the Cardinal, you talk about the strength of the Big 8, right? Beloit, Middleton for a number of years was in there, and some Prairie, and you have people that flash, right? Well, same thing with the Badger Conference. Wanakee and some Prairie have actually played in the sectional finals a number of times these last few years. Verona has been in the mix that way. But between DeForest, Wanakee, and Beaver Dam, that's traditionally had a very strong volleyball program too. The Badger Conference has outstanding talent as well, and you bring in a coach like Coach Schumann from a winning, successful program in Waterloo and infuse that into DeForest, and sometimes that's that boost of energy. And I remember back even probably 20 years ago, I think it was Kirsten Baki who played for DeForest and went up to the Badgers and played basketball for them. And boy, they had a tremendous team back then. So you look at that stretch, that's some pretty talented young ladies that are playing. And a lot of that goes back to club volleyball and the exposure that they get that way, that, you know, these kids grow and develop. And we've seen that, you know, you and I have done football, we've done basketball, we've done a lot of things together. But we've seen that the ability level go up each and every year. And that's pretty fun when we get a chance to sit back and watch high school athletes do some of these amazing things.
I'm glad you got your Kirsten Baki reference in that.
Yeah, well, that told you like 20 years ago, right? It throws you back
Yeah.
a ways. Outstanding athlete,
Boy,
right?
no kidding.
You talk about a competitor. It's fun to see when people that are close by, you know, in our area, Madison area and surrounding, right? It's fun to see kids that work hard and have success.
Sun Prairie wins the first set, 28-26, and we head to set number 2, and the Cardinals will put it in play here. And first match of the alternate season, the spring season here for girls volleyball, DeForest and Sun Prairie. There's a nice play out of the back row. That's going to be a kill for Reese Yoakum.
Nice job. All 3 front row players were there for the block, and she just found a seam. Hard to tell from the sider. Did she go up and over? Did she go around the block? But all 3 of them there, and still was able to drop it in. I think it was tipped, but the ball dropped in deep in Cardinal territory.
And Yoakum will serve this one. Boy, that's a great name in Sun Prairie. It's DeForest athletics through the years. And that Sun Prairie point evens the second set at 1 each. Hallie Runez in for DeForest, number 21. Scott Nelson, Jay Wilson with you. We're from the Sun Prairie Media Center while they play the match at Sun Prairie East High School. Nice dig by Nunez at the net. That's denying, well, I think that was Zarnecki that was stopped at the net. In any case, that's going to be a Sun Prairie point, and the Cardinals go up 2-1 second set.
Adink and Allman on the block there, great job. And I'll say this once, my daughter Landry's in there as well. She got 6 foot, 5'11", and
right.
5'9", or 6'1", excuse me, on that. And that's a pretty big front row again coming at you with 2 girls in Allman and Adink, who have been, again, playing as sophomores for this Cardinal team, and really solid players, both going to play D1 volleyball here after their senior year.
Big double block on the right side there by Sun Prairie, 3-1 Cardinals. They've already won the first set, 28-26. That swing goes wide of the sideline, and Sun Prairie gets its 4th straight point here to take a 4-1 lead.
I always smile at the girls are trying to play defense, right? So Haley Winter is going for the ball, quick pulls back. He's like, I really didn't touch it, and it's out. Like, You can't, did I get caught or didn't I get caught? You got to sell that
Yeah.
a little bit.
Fortunately, everybody with a flag agreed. A whistle. It's going to be a Sun Prairie point, or excuse me, a DeForest point.
I think they're calling 4 hits.
Yep.
Might not have got over the top of the net on the block. Some Prairie girls were arguing for that, but either way, it drops back on their side.
So DeForest stops that 4-point Sun Prairie run. Now 4-2 second set. Elva Krog puts it in play. Handled by Winter for Sun Prairie. And another swing and another kill for Sun Prairie. Was that Yadink again? Looked like it. Good start to the second set here for Sun Prairie.
Shaking off a little bit of the rust, Jay, right? We hear those references a lot, but again, Sun Prairie might be settling. It's nice to have, for them, the first match at home. Despite fans not being there.
Yeah. Yeah, you wonder how much a home court advantage is nowadays, right?
Yeah, probably not as much as what it used to be, but
Yeah.
still familiar surroundings for you.
It's not like DeForest had a 4-hour bus ride or anything
Right,
like
so
that
true.
either, right? Little cut shot by Sun Prairie. And they're going to give the point to the Cardinals.
Yeah, and I don't know if he called.
Was it a
I
net?
think they called somebody in the net. Yeah.
In any case, 6-2 now the lead for Sun Prairie here. Second set. Cardinals up 1-0. That hits a little long, and the Sun Prairie run continues. They've scored 7 of the last 8 points.
Maggie Ullman on the serve likes to be down deep in this vantage point, the bottom right corner, and she kind of bends in, so you never quite know the spin or placement where she's going to put that ball. It makes it really hard defensively to understand what spot she's going to.
Well, that time Grothaus had to lean back a little bit on the shot, still got it across, but her timing was just a little bit off. Now here's the set from Rawls, but yep, double hit on
double, yeah.
Rawls, so it'll be a point for Sun Prairie. So 4 straight, 8 of the last 9 for the Cardinals. And there's a service error to stop that run. 8-3 the score.
Well, that's about the only thing DeForest had going for them. They were struggling with Ullman serve there, and again defensively for Sun Prairie, that when on the serve receive, being in position and allowing self-effort to place the ball where she wants to, and again controlling offensively what Sun Prairie is going to do.
Well, a little problem with the receive of the serve there, and that'll be a point for DeForest.
That's when where you're in the back row, typically as a front row player, you just got to stay on the ball. You can't back away because you lose control of it. You just got to stay on the attack with it.
That one handled much better. Adink gets a swing, and it's a good swing. Elva Krog couldn't handle it. Kill for Sun Prairie, 9-4. Cora Luban in to serve for the Cardinals.
Luban listed 5-4, but she can place the ball. I've seen her drop a few serves just past the net on the top side of it. It's kind of fun to watch the control and touch that she has.
Luban, a 5'4" senior. Boy, there's a great save by Sun Prairie. It's going to result in a point.
Quick reaction, right? You got to have those reflexes going, and even if your eyes are closed, stick your arm out. You never know what's going to happen. But Shelfheffer's done that a couple times now. Gets a nice laugh with their teammates there, but gets it over, and where it goes, right, you get the defense for DeForest a little bit out of position just with a quick reaction.
Boy, Morgan Hahn had the first big swing there, and Sun Prairie somehow able to handle it. That time Hahn tried a little soft one over the top, but Edding sent it back for the point for Sun Prairie.
And that's where that height comes into play at 6'1", right? She's just barely back on the ground, jumps a little bit, but with her length and her reach was able to put that back over quick before the defense could react and get set for DeForest.
Well, Edding at 6'1" is easy to recognize him. She's got that blonde ponytail. That helps a little
that flies
too.
around pretty good, yeah.
Now here's DeForest. All right, great shot there. I think that was Compy again.
Yep, nice attack. You can really tell the confidence in the girls, right, when they get their footwork down, the passes where it needs to be, the sets where it needs to be, and it's just that comfort level of I've been here before and then just finish through with the hit.
Well, Copy sent that one way long past the baseline, so service error gives Sun Prairie a point. Our first set was back and forth, 28-26. Sun Prairie with the second set. Cardinals have a couple of 4-point runs, another 3-point run. They're up 12-5. Oh, Addick with a nice play there to keep it a go. Battle at the net, and it's going to be out. It's going to be a point for Sun Prairie.
That's just some strength, right? A little more desire than the other. You versus me, and then let's go at it. And again, Sienna rolling long, gets up and over the top with that reach and was able to push that down hard. And DeForest, nice job being in position as that one goes out, but in position. But as they hit through, again, it flies over and out of bounds for Sun Prairie, but Sun Prairie gives it right back to him. That's the back and forth we saw in the first game.
Haley Sarneski in for DeForest. She's number 24. She's another senior, one of the 7 seniors on the DeForest roster. And that's going to be a point for the Norskies to make it 13-7. Both teams, in fact, have 7 seniors on their roster.
That's some quick math. I was trying to do that too. I can't write that fast.
I can count up to 7. I know that. That's going to be a net against Sun Prairie. Nope, against DeForest. Yep. So Sun Prairie's lead back to 7 here in the second set. Again, they won the first set to the Cardinals 28-26. Scott Schumann, DeForest head coach, wants a little clarification, gets it. And Sun Prairie to serve with Haley Winter. Good block at the net by the Cardinals there. And another one at the net. It's going to be a Sun Prairie point to make it 15-7.
That's kind of what we were talking about before, right? The set goes just a little bit deep. As you got your attacker from the back row coming in, she has to put on the brake, stop, and almost reach behind her. It really screws up where they strike the ball, which you really want up on top and in front of you. And certainly helped the Cardinals there put that one over the top for the point. Nice scramble by Luban to get back up on her feet and recover with that dig.
Adding takes a swing out of the back row. Here's Yoakum. Sun Prairie can't quite handle it. And it's a Sun Prairie point. Or excuse me, a DeForest point, 15-8.
Little pinball wizard going on there, just hitting off everybody's arm and not really going anywhere.
But Yoakum out of that right side, or that left side, excuse me, has really been effective tonight. Number 13 for DeForest. Reese Yoakum.
Serve goes deep. Now we're trading points, right? Back and forth, and with Sun Prairie built out that big lead, and I would guess they'd be content if they just keep trading point by point. You just naturally by default get to where you want to get, but it'd be nice to have a little run here for either team. I'm sure is what each coach is thinking, but certainly DeForest needs to get something rolling.
And that'll help the Norskies as that serve goes long. 16-9 though, Sun Prairie still leading second set. Trying to go 2-0 up over DeForest here. Little problem with the receive of the serve there, and a point for DeForest. That'll give Reese Yoakum another chance back behind the service line. DeForest with consecutive points to make it 16-10. That one landed out.
Trying to just get a little touch serve up and over. The coaches will call up positions 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Time, really nice job of dropping that high and over, but just outside the line.
And that was a power serve.
I think that's in the far basketball court past the net. She struck that well.
That one had a lot of steam on it, and it's a 17-11. Sun Prairie leads second set. Chance for Sun Prairie here. Handled nicely, though, by the DeForest defense. Adding gets it back. And DeForest responds defensively as well. Adding again. Elbacrog dug it. Back to the Sun Prairie side. Eddink. Alvacraw, nice dig, nice try, but unsuccessful, and it's a point for Sun Prairie, 18-11.
Really like the aggressiveness and the teamwork both sides showed here. Sun Prairie digging, scrappy, getting on the ground, getting up to DeForest. Girls are flying all over, diving for the ball, getting out of bounds. Just a really well-played point, and benefit to the Cardinals for sticking it through.
Well, that time DeForest got a little out of whack. Grouthouse could only send it into the net. 19-11 the score, second set, and we have a timeout for DeForest. So some good solid play by Sun Prairie here in the second set.
Yeah, settled in, like we had said right after that first, and certainly getting the first win of your season, first set win, and that was great for Sun Prairie. And again, Scott Schumann does a nice job with coaching and strategy and technique. And really right now I'm looking at this, okay, we're basically 1.5 games into this, right?
Mm-hmm.
And girls aren't in condition yet. You got to get a little bit of water, give them a chance to rest, get their breath back, get some water inside of them, and regroup while you're teaching them with here's a situation. And so they're learning as they go. And this is again a critical point here for the Cardinals. You're 6 points away from winning this one. My challenge to you as a coach, and let's keep the hammer down. Let's go full throttle and put this thing away. And DeForest on the other side, we got to get a quick side out, right? We need to start going here, because if we don't, we'll run out of time.
19-11 the score. Sun Prairie with the serve. Big swing from Grouthouse, handled by the Sun Prairie defense. Adding tries to answer, but the Norskis respond to that. Another big hit, and that's going to be a point for DeForest. That was Compy on the left side.
We've talked about this a few times, right? Position-wise for the block, right? Getting in there and your hands together, are you close enough with the other blocker? Are you in position, right? And just finding a small seam as the attacker, right? And if you can do that, you can put it through and it bounces off an arm and goes to where another defender is not, to be able to get the dig, and that makes it awfully difficult. So you're seeing some good play both ways here. Defense isn't out of position. You're just seeing some really good attack and kills that the girls are putting forward here.
Service error makes it 20-12 Sun Prairie. Number 8, Sam Schumann is in for Sun Prairie. She's the daughter of the DeForest head coach, Scott Schumann. And that's a serve that's going to get it to 21-12 Sun Prairie.
I would guess she's a little bit excited about this. Some bragging rights at home coming out of this one, right?
It could be tough at the breakfast table tomorrow morning, though.
Only if you lose.
Well, somebody's going to be happy,
Yeah, that's
I
right.
guess. Huh? Double block by Sun Prairie. Big single block by DeForest. Adink missed it.
Oh, his out looks like it. Yep, just called out. I couldn't see if the one line judge called it a tip or not, but good strike, trying to go down the line just a little bit wide.
21-13, Sun Prairie still with a comfortable lead here in the second set. And serving is typically a strength of DeForest. Didn't help him that time, 22-13 on the service error.
Good reaction by the back row for the Cardinals to let that one go deep. Good communication off the bench to let them know it's long.
Adding serves for Sun Prairie. DeForest with a nice set and a good kill. That was Yoakum.
Really tight cross-court hit just past the 10-foot line. Makes it really difficult for Haley Winter to reach out and grab that one, keep it in play.
Outside hitter Reese Yoakum, 5'10" junior. 22-14. That one never made it over, so 22-15.
Tough on the pass off the serve for Lily Shelfeffer, the setter for Sun Prairie, to run and get that. And again, she's running, trying to place it, and Santa rolling again on the pass, just a little bit too close to the net on the set.
And the DeForest block stays on the Norski's side, so 23-15. 2 points away from possibly taking a 2-set lead for Sun Prairie.
A lot more communication going on, Jay. Girls pointing and figuring out who's where for Sun Prairie, which I like to see.
And again, we're about an hour into the season here, so
Yeah, right?
both teams are trying to get some footing here. Well, that time Rolling, couldn't get enough on it. It stayed on the Sun Prairie side. It's the point for DeForest, 23-16, second set. Sun Prairie jumped out to an early 8-1 lead in the second set and been pretty much even ever since. Oh, good block defensively. Growthhouse 5, Zarneski 24 for DeForest.
Well, and the girls are starting to feel comfortable too, Jay, like with where the set goes, where the outside hitter's coming. And if you're hitting outside, right, DeForest is setting up right now a little bit more cross court, and we keep hitting into that, keep hitting it. At some point, and we saw Adding try to go down line. She was just a little bit outside. Sometimes you got to try up a couple of different things just to make the defense play true to what you're doing.
Well, the Narskis making things happen here late in the second set. They've scored 5 of the last 6 in the last 3 in a row. Until that, 24-18, set point in the second for Sun Prairie coming up. Timeout, DeForest. TJ Randall says that she thinks the craziest part about the teams right now is that they're all so separate. She says she's used to the first day of practice walking into the gym with the freshmen through seniors sitting there and going through what everybody expects, and that gives her usually a chance to work with every single player and get to know them by name. But this year she was only allowed to work with the varsity, and it all feels very separate. And in order to play in Dane County, you can only have teams of 12 players. So that's giving the coaching staff a chance to play during practice too. So yeah. I guess that's a silver lining in a strange way.
And I would say be careful because you're not as in shape as what you used to be. I learned that the hard way myself. But she's right. Like that's the hard part. They had teams practicing at the high school here, over at the upper middle school, a couple of middle schools. So they're all over the place, and you're trying to form some camaraderie through the program. This year, there's challenges, right? We understand that, but the girls have responded really well.
Well, set point avoided by DeForest. They keep their little mini run going here, 24-19 now. But again, another set point possibility for Sun Prairie. And that will do it. Big hit cross court, 25-19, to go along with a first set win of 28-26. And Sun Prairie off to a 2-0 lead here over DeForest in the season opener. Well, DeForest put on a little resistance there at the end of the second set, but that was pretty much dominated by Sun Prairie for the most part.
Well, you get a little run going early in a game like that, right? And you get that 8-10 point lead, and you start to feel comfortable. Now, the trick is, right, not feeling too comfortable where you allow the other team to kind of creep back in. DeForest tried to make a little run, but I don't think they got any closer than 6 points. So nice job by the Cardinals to keep that difference. But that's the beauty, again, of the rally scoring, right, back and forth. Each point or each serve counts. And if you can go side out with somebody that way after getting that little run, that makes a big difference.
You said, when I mentioned that coaches practice, the coaches have to be careful. You had firsthand firsthand information?
Yeah, I'll just say that I was pretty sore after I helped coach football.
I assume this is the football
practice.
I
helped coach football here, and so you kind of mix in some drills, and you realize that you're not wearing pads, and they are pretty quickly. And I didn't get hurt. Like I've heard stories of rupturing Achilles tendon and that, but my one shoulder's not been the same since. Let's just say that.
Still?
Well, I don't know if my wife's listening, so no, it's all fine now. It's all good.
Well, I think your wife's listening, so you're going to have some splaining to do when you get home tonight. But
it's all right.
There we go. Okay. All right. If you
Thanks for that, Jay.
Anytime. Well, I was just curious. I mean, it was an interesting story. I wanted to hear how it turned out.
It wasn't that interesting now that I think about it.
Okay, Sun Prairie won the first set 28-26. They just took the second set 25-19. So the Cardinals looking to close things out here. Although, early in the season, you never know if you're going to play 3 sets, 4 sets. And if you saw in spring training baseball, they have 20 pitch limits.
Right.
In spring training, they had the bases loaded. The guy had his 20th pitch, and they just pulled everybody off the field. Yeah. You have that option.
So he got saved, right? I saw that.
All the rules are different now and everything.
Yeah.
So we assume it's going to be a 3-set match, but we'll follow along with you. And again, we're not in the high school. We're at the Sun Prairie Media Center, What street are we on? I don't even know. We're by the library. We're in the
we are on
library
Linner Road.
building.
Linner Road.
Linner, yeah.
Yep.
Linner Road. So we're not actually in the building. This is how broadcasting's done now, too.
Yeah, right.
You look at a TV screen from far away and do the best you can with what you got.
Yeah.
Well, thank Jeff Robbins and all the staff
For
here
sure.
for setting us up. Hope Jeff got home in time for dinner.
Yeah, we don't want him to get in trouble.
No. Okay, here we go with the third set. And mishandled, and DeForest wins the first point of set number 3. I heard your phone buzz. Is that your
Yeah,
wife
no,
texting?
I just looked just in case. I'm safe.
The serve handled a little more cleanly for Sun Prairie. DeForest, though, has the answer. And good dig there. Alva Krog with a little back set. Ooh, nice dig from Haley Winter for Sun Prairie, but the Cardinals can't convert it after that, and DeForest wins the second point to take a 2-0 lead, third set. Sun Prairie trying to keep that momentum going after winning the first 2. Alva Krog's been on the floor most of the night digging. Here's a battle at the net. Now DeForest will have a chance to organize. And that swing goes long, and it's a point for Sun Prairie. 2-1.
Nice job to be able to see where she wanted to go with the ball. No defenders in the back there, so if she gets through the block, she's got a great chance. Just didn't dive on her to go inside. Just a little bit long.
Cardinals serving here, trying to even the third set. Winter has to get it across, and she does. And at the net, that's going to be Doucette just missing it. That was Zarneski who couldn't quite get it over. So Sun Prairie evens the third set at 2 apiece.
Allman on the single block there. Boy, Lily Shelpfepper, the setter for Sun Prairie, is getting a workout in today. She's been running all over the court. Again, early in the season, probably not in great shape, but they're making her work, and so far she's responded for the most part.
How about that serve? Just inside the baseline. The end line, excuse me. 3-2. Yeah.
End line is close to the baseline.
Close to the
right?
baseline. And that one's ruled long, so it will be going back to DeForest, and the third set's back to even 3 apiece.
Have you ever done the line judging before?
Not intentionally.
Kind of fell
I
in
did.
it. I've done that too.
I did soccer lines once.
Okay.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
I was not asked back to do the soccer lines.
So you did a good job then.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it was really good.
Yeah, that's kind of the. What do you want to do? Do I want to do really good and get asked back, or do I not want to do this ever again? Yeah.
Well, let's thank all the officials,
For sure.
volunteer and paid,
Yes.
because without them, it doesn't happen. Sun Prairie back in front, 4-3, third set. Oh, beautiful shot there. 32, Morgan Hahn, one of the seniors for DeForest. Beautiful play.
And sometimes those touch shots, right? They don't even have to have a lot on them, but it allows the defenders, right? They're in a certain spot expecting a big kill, and when you drop a little bit short, it's awfully hard to stretch and reach to get to those.
Everybody oohs and ahs over the big swings, but
Right.
it's those little ones that can be just as effective. So that's into the net. DeForest takes the lead here in the third set, 5-4. See Scott Schumann doing some early season coaching, directing his team. And here's the serve from Ellie Doucette. Adding. Stuffed back. Sun Prairie thought they had won the point, but no, it continues. Norski's dig it. Here's the set. There's the swing. And that hit the antenna?
Yep.
So point Sun Prairie.
Yeah, you see the girls kind of wave their hand, and then you look to the corner judge, and that's the officials are doing a nice job communicating, looking, and coordinating with one another, and on the spot, good call.
Yep. Well, there's Doucette setting up Hahn, and Hahn's left-handed touch goes over and down. 6-5 DeForest.
And here we go, more like the first game, right? Back and forth, back and forth.
Ali Runez will serve it once they retrieve the ball on the far side there. There's
A lot longer to go for those with the
Yeah.
bleachers not pulled out,
no kidding.
right?
Yeah, and there's a lot of room there, isn't
Yeah,
there?
for sure.
Okay, now Runez ready to put it in play. Handled by the Cardinals. They set the back row, and it worked.
Nice job by Sienna Rolling. Again, good position for your setter on the pass, and makes it a lot easier for them to get in position, and then Rolling finishing from the back row attack.
Serve is long, so it goes back to DeForest. Norskies take a 7-6 lead.
Those unforced errors like that, service errors, right? Those are hard as a coach to kind of stomach, because, again, each point counts, right? And people understand that and know that. And parents get a little frustrated at times, and yet those are times where you rally, you come back, and you put a big attack just like you saw some Prairie do there, and put the kill down the line, and that now you got the momentum back, right? It's such a quick game back and forth, but it's about keeping the momentum for as long as you can, that confidence level at as high as you possibly can.
7-7 third set. Sun Prairie has won the first two. That one's out.
Pretty quick reaction time by that line judge,
Yeah.
getting out of the way of the ball and being able to call out at the same time. That's impressive.
Sun Prairie now with a third set lead at 8-7. A couple of Sun Prairie Cardinals looking forward to some college plans next year. Peyton Edding going to Minnesota Duluth, and Maggie Ullman to St. Thomas University next year. St. Thomas going Division I in a lot of sports next year.
And a little reverser, I think Allman may have set that to Shelfeffer as opposed to the other way around. Shelfeffer comes up with the kill.
Well, Sun Prairie with 3 straight to take a 9-7 lead here.
Yeah, for those two, both going to the state of Minnesota, right? A lot more opportunity with Division II schools or Division I. And again, 2 players that have played for 3 years for Coach Rantley here at Sun Prairie, and excited to go watch them compete at the next level. And you just, you hope at that point with the amount of training and things that they do there, that injuries stay away and they enjoy school, and because it's a big adjustment to head 4 hours, 8 hours away from home, and but you wish them a lot of luck, and it's great to see your program be recognized by college coaches of producing good players.
But they get to keep doing something they love doing,
sure.
playing volleyball, right?
For sure. Yeah, if you love it, there's a place for you. And if you're willing to travel, sometimes that's what you got to do. But if you love playing volleyball or football or track and field, whatever it is, that you can find a school to go to that will have you, and that's the beauty of it.
That last point was double contact against Sun Prairie. So point for DeForest to tie it at 9 in the third set. That slide is denied. Double team block there by DeForest. Zarneski was one of them, and I believe Yoakum was the other.
Allman, who's normally the middle attacker, middle blocker, that time she rotates to the right side, and Shelfeffer's back set. Great job defensively on the block by DeForest.
Elva Krog sends it over for DeForest. Now Sun Prairie tries to get something going. Was that Luban? Hard to tell.
I think that was Rolling, but Luban
Okay,
was
Rolling.
Yep. I think Rolling just came to the side of it and was able to just tip it again, finding different spots on the block, right? She stayed to the outside, goes off the arm of DeForest, and drops out of bounds.
10-10. In.
I liked how the DeForest girls lined up there and looked at it, looked at the line judge, looked back at it, but hey, you made the call, right? There's no argument that we line back up and play, and Sun Prairie takes a 11-10 lead.
Big hit there from Yoakum. Came right up the center to tie at 11. Natalie Compy back in for the Norskies.
Attacking right through the block, and she's got some power to be able to do that. Again, you got a couple girls there that are long, and if I don't know, again, we can't tell from this angle if they just got to get a little bit closer together, or if she's just finding the seam. Sometimes you have a really good offensive night, and so far she's been driving the ball.
Oh, great defensive block there. Grothaus was one of them. 24, that's Zarneski again. So the DeForest defense comes through with a big play, and they take a 12-11 lead here in the third set. Sun Prairie won the first two, 28-26 and 25-19. A little mishit there into the net, and DeForest's lead grows to 13-11.
And that timing is so critical. It's much like a quarterback receiver, right? It just has to be on. Your footwork has to be on, and if the approach is a little bit off or the set is just a little bit off, all those things have to come together, and sometimes it just happens, and that's what you got to work through here early in the season.
Well, that time Yoakum couldn't get it across, so 13-12. It's also going to be interesting to see. I mean, I know they're young kids, they're in condition, but they're not in game condition. It'll be interesting to see how clean the play stays the deeper you get into a match.
Right. Yeah, and I think the little fatigue in the legs right now, especially early, like you said, I'd be interested in a couple weeks from now, right? What else do we see from there, and how long are the girls able to go and really attack and get after it? And that's a sign, right, then that things are starting to click. As you get a nice big block there by Allman and Adink again. Again, two big girls at the front, in your front row. And but I think to your point, right, you see that a lot with teams early in a season, especially when you haven't played for a year and a half. And that's, some may have been doing club, but again, it's still, they get heavy. You get a little lead in the legs, to say the least.
Well, DeForest had been holding on to the lead here in the third set, but now Sun Prairie with three straight takes a 14-13 advantage, and we have a timeout. Sun Prairie's volleyball, girls volleyball, has been to state 5 times, 2012, 2013, 2016, 2018, and 2019, and they won 3 straight conference championships in the Big 8 in 16, 17, and 18. Again, last year, well, we call it last season, 2019, Verona won the head-to-head, the only loss of the regular season for Sun Prairie. But it's been a great run for the Cardinals, and looks like this team is going to be pretty solid again this year, too.
Yeah, I think, sometimes you have the success with a program. Rob Hamilton's done it for a number of years here with baseball, and that breeds some of the excitement in the youth levels, and that carries forward. And what'll be really interesting, you and I were talking before we started here tonight, in a couple of years, year and a half roughly, there's going to be another Sun Prairie High School, and you'll have Sun Prairie East and Sun Prairie West, and which is great opportunity for kids, right, that may or may not decide to go out for a sport. They're worried about getting cut. They don't want to go out for student council. A lot of opportunity for kids, which is great. And yet now you got to figure out, okay, how do we keep this momentum going for the community of Sun Prairie, not just for one high school when you add the second into the mix?
Sun Prairie tried to keep this run going. They scored 4 straight to take a 15-13 lead here in the third set. Good save there by Winter to keep it going. Now let's see what DeForest can do. Winter again saved it, but point goes out, and DeForest finally stops that 5-point run by Sun Prairie. 15-14.
Winter is able to get an arm on that ball, but it just goes a little bit to the side, almost starts spinning backwards. Awfully tough run for any setter, right, to go chase that one down.
That one's wide, 16-14. So we're at the home of the Sun Prairie East Cardinals, and the Sun Prairie West Wolves will
that'll change,
begin play down the road. Boy, is that going to be a rivalry, huh?
Yeah, especially the first year, right? That's the first of everything, and I mean that's kind of what's just naturally ingrained in all that stuff when you go to that point of your district growing and your school is growing, and again, it's a great thing as far as kids have an opportunity and for your community, right? Some people, they don't want it to split like Janesville Parker and Janesville Craig and the four Madison school, but it's just naturally going to happen. And again, these are kids just from Sun Prairie, and if you embrace that part of it as a community as a whole, which Sun Prairie is usually pretty strong that way, what a great opportunity for kids to have an opportunity to play and be in drama and all those things that go along with your experience in high school.
That hit the antenna as Eddink took her big swing, and DeForest gets that point. All even third set, 16 apiece. That one's long.
That was close, but we'll take it.
Mm-hmm. Sun Prairie trying to get the alternate season opening night win. Sun Prairie again on the right side of your screen in the black with the red letters and white trim. DeForest on the left side of the net, purple and gold, the traditional purple and gold for the Norskis. That's going to be a violation against Sun Prairie, so it's 17-17 now.
Sometimes the girls kind of look at the down judge and say, well, I didn't touch the net, and they forget, like, even when you turn, if your hair hits it, it's still a net violation, right? So you might not feel that. That's where they play so tight to the net, and yet it's just got to be a feel. And nice job again by the officials here in probably one of their first matches in a long time as well.
Boy, Winter handled that shot that had a lot of pace on from the outside. They're tried again, that cross quarter handled by Eddink. Eddink takes a big swing there. Nunez with a dig for DeForest. Now they set far side, and a great shot there for DeForest. That's Yoakum.
It started drifting towards the net. I thought we might have had a good chance in the Cardinals of meeting that right at the midline, but outstanding job on the strike, getting up high, reaching up top, and striking the ball down at the top of her reach. And that makes it hard because the ball's coming down with such force at a steep angle.
DeForest trying to claw back in this match, leading by one in the third set, and that one's stuffed home again by the Norskis for a 19-17 lead and a Sun Prairie timeout.
Both teams should have one remaining.
Well, this alternate spring schedule, I mean, everything's subject to change, but Sun Prairie's next match scheduled for Tuesday, March 9th at Janesville Craig, then home to Verona on the 11th of March. Then they have a home-and-home with Oshkosh West. Nope, check that. They go to Oshkosh West on Monday, March 15th, and they'll go to Appleton North on April 5th. Those are the two big non-conference, if you call it that, road trips. But all the Madison schools right now not playing. They're not allowed to have a competition until April 4th. So that schedule, check it every day to see what happens.
They're kind of moving forward with whoever they can find, right? And I would guess you read that tonight, and within 2 days that might change again, right? And some might be added. The team may have issues with kids being sick and with COVID, and then you're shut down for a certain amount of time. And on the nice attack by Avery Antoni there, and it's always in fluid, right? And I think that's the one thing that Coach Rantel and Coach Schumann, both of these coaches here, right? We want to find games for the kids, and we'll be adaptable and adjustable. And it's not just varsity games. You have JV teams, you have freshman teams you're trying to account for, and how can you get them the best number of games possible all the way through your program? And that's why these two have been successful, is they look at it as a program as a whole, and to develop that talent to continue to replace, right, and reload each and every year.
Morgan Hahn stuffed that one at the net for DeForest, and the Norskis now up 20-18 third set. Hahn served it into the net.
Well, that certainly helps with the Cardinals. Pull close now, and now Haley Winter again, she's not very tall in stature, but has a tremendous serve.
Listed at 5 foot 5 inches. Nunez on the receive for DeForest. Eiselt got her steps crossed up a little bit, but able to get it across. And then the big swing goes wide, and it's a point for Sun Prairie.
Nice job with the moving block and the attack. Forced her to go cross court, and again, as you said, a little bit too wide. Sometimes you just see that and like, okay, I got this, and your aiming point or your strike on the ball is just a little bit off.
Winter across for Elvacrog, and then it falls to the floor, so it's point Sun Prairie. The Cardinals take a third set lead, and a timeout for Scott Schumann and DeForest.
Sometimes, despite trying to hit 3 times on a side, maybe one time doesn't always hurt that bad when you get the defense out of position. But Haley Winter, nice job putting that on the far right side of the court and catching DeForest that way. But I don't think that's something that, as a head coach and Coach Rantala for sure, that she wants. I want to see the dig and the pass. I want to see the set, and I want to see a big attack and kill.
Well, you look at DeForest's upcoming alternate spring schedule. It looks like a Badger Conference schedule. They'll play at Beaver Dam Thursday, and then it's at Fort Atkinson, at Monroe, at Milton, Monona Grove in Oregon, Wanakee, Mount Horeb, and Stoughton. So those are certainly a lot of familiar schools on the upcoming DeForest schedule, but again, it's all subject to change. Right now, there's a Big 8 conference meet scheduled on Saturday, April 10th, but we'll see about that.
Don't hold your breath, right?
Yeah, right. Zarneski was denied at the net by the Sun Prairie block. Another defensive play by the Cardinals. Adink rolls out of the back row to push it across. And that's going to be taken in the back by Sun Prairie. Again, more good play at the net, and then finally it falls on the DeForest side, so Sun Prairie now 3 points away from winning the match.
Nice movement, getting the ball around, trying to get the defense running a little bit, and Sienna rolling with a nice kill, goes straight down the line, and DeForest wasn't able to dig it out of the net.
There's the back set for DeForest, and a net violation. Is that rolling?
I couldn't quite tell the number that he held
thought
up.
he held up
I think,
a 5.
I think that was, yeah.
In any case, 22-21 the score, third set. Whistle, and I think they might have got double hit. Yep. So 23-21.
Those are much easier to pick up in person than they are on TV.
Well, at least you don't have the fans hooting and hollering that whatever
that
it
helps.
is.
Yeah.
It's a good thing. The officials don't need your help typically.
Although you can still give it. Most do, right?
You're such a fan.
I sit pretty quiet, you know that.
I know that. Yeah. You're very well behaved. 23-22 now. DeForest trying to get back in this third set. Sun Prairie still 2 points away from the match. And mishandled by Winter. So the third set is now even again, 23 apiece.
We get timeout, Sun Prairie. Serve, receive again. You got to move your feet, right? You got to react to that. And yet, I've been on the end line here, right, watching these girls serve. And holy cow, you talk about like a knuckleball, right? That they can move that thing around, and at the last minute, it all of a sudden changes with what your eye is telling you, and it's incredible to watch that happen. It makes the receive to get a solid pass. I mean, you really got to be good and be flexible with your legs to be able to move your body instead of reaching and trying to just pop it back towards the net.
Also want to recognize the athletic directors of the two schools, Eric Nee for Sun Prairie and Rick Hennert for DeForest. Can you imagine the scheduling nightmares they've been going through? And
yeah, you look at transportation, right? You look at trying to find officials, scheduling, and I would guess you'd hope both those guys, right, with all the fall sports coming in and then your spring sports coming, you just got done with winter, you would hope you'd rely on your coaches, right? Like, who do you want to play and what's going to be the best benefit for our kids, and yet keeping with the understanding that busing is difficult and travel is difficult, and all those things kind of go hand in hand, right? And that's where that leadership comes into play, and again, the communication with your staff.
Well, here's DeForest now serving for the third set, 24-23. That's Yoakum putting it in play. Edding gets it over. Here's the set. Battle at the net. It's going to be won by DeForest, and the Norskies take set number 3.
Scrappy.
Yeah. So Sun Prairie won the first two, 28-26, 25-19, but DeForest rallies for a third set win, 25-23, and this evening will continue as the Norskies show some grit and get back into this match.
You hear how quiet that is, right? Can you imagine being in the gym right now? Like
It's
for
so
us,
different.
I
Yeah.
pause there just for a second to listen, like nobody's
Yeah.
there. And I would think, like Dane County, I think they came out with a new health order today, and so maybe that can expand some things. You had talked about Sun Prairie maybe going up by Oshkosh and Appleton. I think there's opportunity for fans there, and you want to be safe and careful, and yet you also have parents and people that don't want to watch their kids. And you know, like you mentioned, there's the 7 seniors on each team. This is the last go-around, right, for those kids. And so I hope that can be lifted a little bit, right, for people to go. And certainly if they're a little bit more cautious indoors than outdoors, right, with soccer and football, and then pretty soon baseball, and again soccer and track and field, softball, and that should hopefully open some things up. But I know that people really want to see their kids, and this is great, right, to have the technology to be able to do stuff like this and share that. Grandparents from all over the place. You mentioned TJ Rantle, the head coach for Sun Prairie, her mom watching, all that kind of stuff, right? It's great, and yet there's nothing like being in person, right? We know that from doing this for years. There's just something special about being at a high school athletic event.
Well, we look back to our high school experiences.
For
and
sure.
So many people watching this tonight, all the great memories you have of your last couple of years of high school in specific, and all the kids that had the robbed from them at the end of last year and even into this year. But you hope with the vaccines that are coming and some of the loosening of the restrictions, and how close to normal can we get, maybe by next fall, maybe.
Right.
But like you say, just to have some sort of opportunity here to play in your home court and make it look as real as possible.
Right.
Yeah, you'd like your
Right.
parents to be in the stands and things like that. Well, we're not there yet, but
Yeah, that's a hard one, right? When your daughter, in this case, goes out the door and, hey, good luck, we'll be watching, right? And then, but you're not there present. That's just a different feeling for parents. And we talked about that with our daughter. I'm sure most parents have, right? Like, it's going to be different, but we just love watching you play. And that's the beauty of it, right? So if that's in person, great. If it's not, we'll do all we can to watch somewhere along the line. And as long as they know that, right, that's a big boost for them mentally. And just playing is a big boost mentally, right? They've been inactive for quite some time, and how awesome is it, again, to be able to share this with your friends from school and compete a little bit and learn something about yourself that you can push through some barriers. And that's the pretty cool thing about high school athletics.
okay, here we go with the fourth set. DeForest clawing back in it with the third set win. And right off the bat, a double block at the net by Sun Prairie. It looks like Rawling and Edding there defensively. Cardinals take the first point of set number 4. Winter tried to save it, couldn't, and DeForest gets the point there.
That's those little touch shots we've talked about, right? Just up and over the block. Shell Pepper is serving, so she's deep on the court and has to run straight up to get it. Was only able to get one arm on it, and that makes it awfully hard. But Winter, tremendous effort trying to get to it. And again, now you've got the serve-receive part of it, right? The passes are off. There's unforced errors that the Cardinals are showing right now, and that's frustrating. Frustrating for the girls, frustrating for the coach, and you find something out about yourself. How do we push through this collectively as the six on the court?
We've mentioned a lot of names tonight. We also want to mention senior Emily Mickelson for Sun Prairie. She's injured right now, a fracture in her ankle, but she's there. She was out there in warm-ups doing what she could, and hopefully she'll have a speedy recovery and a quick one as well.
Looked like a boot or a brace, but she's up and walking around, which is always a good sign. And she's a pole vaulter for the track team too, so she's got 2 seasons back-to-back here. And as hard as it is to have to sit, right? You want to play. That's how your psyche is. I want to compete and play, but you got to be smart for your future as well.
Zarneski's shot blocked at the net by Sun Prairie's defense. Big swing there, and that was to Yoakum, but she couldn't handle it, so that'll be a point for Sun Prairie.
Long run again to get the ball that would bounce behind the corner into the. There's 4 cross courts here in the Sun Prairie field house, so if it goes behind that curtain, you got a little hike ahead of you.
Now we're ready to go. Jump serve. Yoakum couldn't quite get enough height on that and hit it into the net. 3-3, fourth set. Service error makes it 4-3 DeForest.
Yeah, that makes it hard. You get one good, one in, right? And you're excited, you get a little more amped up, and that adrenaline flows, and lo and behold, then you're 5 feet past the line. That's a consistency that I think you'll see get better and better throughout the season as well.
Elva Krog serves it for DeForest. That's going to be a point Sun Prairie. Substitution for the Cardinals as they even the set at 4 points apiece. Looked like we might have a quick night with Sun Prairie winning the first 2.
Right.
Hats off to the Norskis for winning that 3rd set. Now let's see if the Cardinals can take control here. They're up 5-4 after scoring the last 2.
Yeah, a little gritty game in that third one for the Norskis coming back like that. And it wasn't easy, right? Sun Prairie was rallying right there with them, but they found a way to put them away. And consistent back and forth here again with Sun Prairie and DeForest here now in the 4th.
Eiselt and Doucette back in for DeForest. Ellie Doucette, the sophomore, 5'7". She'll be serving it for the Norskis. Oh, nice shot. Abigail Eiselt found the hole and put it down for a 6-5 DeForest lead.
And through your rotation right now for Sun Prairie, as Sienna Rowling comes out, Peyton Addings in the back, you got 2 girls that are typically used to playing front row hit, right? And outside, right side, and defense is not usually their strong suit. It's not a knock on them, it's just the way the volleyball is, right? And so Sienna comes out and you get a substitute in there, but again, a junior that's learning to play and be aggressive with things is really solid. We saw her put a couple away outside here from the edge and down the line cross court. So need her to continue to build that confidence in her playing ability.
Cora Luban in to serve for Sun Prairie. Kendall Weisensell was the previous substitution. In a 6-6 game, or 6-6 set here in the 4th. See, that was old school again. They used to call them games, and now they're back to being called sets. But you'll find a lot of longtime volleyball people that still call them games because they did for 20 years before that.
Yeah, it takes me a little while to figure that out. And my wife always laughs at me, and my daughter does too. And like, I get the substitution, except when they just run on and off the court. Like, what just happened? Like, don't you have to check in? Because that's what I'm used to. Every substitution had to be somebody checking in. And although it does make the game go a little bit quicker, thankfully. And that seems to be the thing, like even for baseball. And how do we make the game go quicker, more enjoyable for fans? And boy, the rally scoring certainly has done that over the last what, 20 some years that they've been doing it that way. It's an exciting game for sure.
That was Morgan Hahn putting that away for DeForest. So the 5'9" senior gets the point. 7-7, fourth set. Again, we've seen some mistakes tonight, but for the most part, it's been pretty good volleyball.
It's been fun. Some good strikes, some great effort defensively, and
well, that time adding fortunate.
yeah, finding the spot in the defense right where nobody is. It's kind of the name of the game.
Natalie Compy back in for DeForest. She'll get Hallie Runez. And adding, puts it in play for Sun Prairie. Oh, great defensive block there. They doubled up, and Sun Prairie got the point, 9-7, Cardinals.
Sliding in across the block, getting to the line, right? And then putting your hands in position where if you make contact, it bounces back in court. Really good job both by Antoni and Rolling.
Wow.
That's much more her spot, right? Sienna Rolling on the outside edge, outside hitting, compared to the back row, right? You see a big change in psyche and ability and confidence overall.
Nobody could get in front of that one from Sienna Rolling. 6-foot junior outside hitter for Sun Prairie. That one's wide. So Sun Prairie with a 4-point run here, and Scott Schumann's going to call timeout.
Again, some of it's for getting his team off and composed again, the coaching side of it. Some of it's fatigue, letting them recover as quick as they can, get a little bit of water, right? But communication and really with as well as they did in the third set, right? That's a big moment for Schumann to say, hey, girls, we've done this, right? You just beat them this last one. Like, we can do this. We're down 4. It doesn't take that long to get back into this. And but we got to find a way to get side out. You want to give Sun Prairie 2-3 more points, and then it's just back and forth as you go. Sun Prairie right now, again, keep the momentum going, put the pedal to the metal, and they feel like, okay, we let one slip away in the third, so let's finish this off here in the fourth set.
If you like what you're seeing, make sure you download the Sun Prairie Media Center app. Not only live streaming events, but all sorts of things on there.
Yeah, a lot of live content, I would guess.
Learn a lot about your community. So go to the App Store.
The App Store, yeah. It was easy.
Yeah. Easier than I thought.
Well, easy for you and I, right? That's the main thing.
There you go. DeForest won the last point, 11-8 fourth set. Sun Prairie won the first two, 28-26 and 25-19. DeForest with a nice rally in the third, 25-23. Scott Nelson, Jay Wilson with you. As play continues at Sun Prairie East High School, the Cardinals and the Norskies here, opening the 2021 alternate spring season. Well, a couple of Sun Prairie players came together. That was Adink and Winter. They misplayed the receive. So DeForest crawls to within 1 here in the fourth set, 11-10. Wouldn't be surprised if this one goes 5 tonight the way things are going.
Right.
That's Iselt for DeForest. And a violation.
Yeah.
They get Iselt at the net for DeForest.
Yeah, the girls always look shocked, right? It's almost like I didn't follow that guy in basketball, right? It's the same kind of thing, but you're so focused in movement, and sometimes the officials see more obviously than what you do. And again, it doesn't take much; it's just a little tap of that net, and the whistle's being blown.
That might have been double contact.
Yep.
So Sun Prairie up 3. trying to close it out, 13-10 Cardinals. Winter serves. Zarneski missed it wide.
Yeah, not a bad idea, right? You've been going through the middle a bunch. You've been coming down the side, and this time it's not so much cross court. She's hitting from the middle, but saw an opening, and again, a little bit too much force on the kill. And when you attack that way, sometimes the mindset is right. The body just doesn't do what you want it to.
After DeForest scored 3 straight, Sun Prairie responds with a 3-point run of their own. Make it 4.
Much more consistent now with the pass, the set, and the finish, right? And that's what you really want to get to, where you feel comfortable and things are clicking and the ball's going where you want it to offensively. And then defensively, position-wise, they've been in spots to make it awfully tough on the Norskies.
If you like reading body language, you got to like Sun Prairie's right now, although DeForest gets one back there, 15-11.
That's the old jinx, right?
Yeah, right.
Hey, he's 10 for 10 on free throws.
My bad.
Yeah.
Izzy Grothaus back in for DeForest. Now, if we had that much power, wow,
Oh, right.
the world would be ours.
Good
Yep.
effort.
Yep. That's another kill for, I believe, Rolling on the left side. 16-11.
Pfeffer back to serve this.
Good dig from Adink. And a good shot there by the Cardinals.
Nice set. Good job by Sienna Rolling. We've said her name a bunch. Right now she's outside, which means she's on the left side attack. And again, found the open hole right in the middle of that defense.
Shell Pfeffer looking for her 3rd straight point. But again, the jinx hits, and it's a service error.
That's twice you got
It's unbelievable. What are the odds?
Well, so far pretty good for you, I guess.
Yeah, it's working out that way, isn't it? 17-12, Sun Prairie still with the 4th set lead. Well, it wasn't real clean, but the receive worked out, and boy, stuffed back in. I think Rolling was right there.
I couldn't tell if that was just on the serve where it was just a little bit off. You had 2 strikers coming in there on the attack, and I couldn't tell if that was a design play where they go over the first to the second, or if it just missed the first, and thankfully the second was there.
18-12, Sun Prairie. Good.
Block late getting there, a nice job recognizing that going down the line.
Looked like it was Compy again.
He's a nice player.
Yeah. Yeah, Compy and Yoakum have really led them tonight.
Yep.
Albakrog's been on the floor half the night digging out serves.
She'll feel it tomorrow, right?
Yeah. Double hit.
Yep.
19-13.
Yeah, those are hard to pick up here on the screen. You get a lot of position. You're trying to pivot back, get the ball off the net for somebody else to hit it, and that typically happens.
Albakrog sends it over. Here's the set. Adink with the kill. Well played by the Cardinals. 20-13, and another timeout for DeForest.
For quite a while, Sun Prairie has had one setter, and she's not with the team anymore, and so you got a new setter coming in, and Lily Shelpfeffer, but you have some hitters again that have played with you for a while, and when you have Peyton Adink, who's 6'1", and Maggie Allman in the middle at 5'11", 6 foot roughly, right? It allows that length, right? You can go from cross court and send it, but you know that your hitter is going to get to it, and but what a luxury is as a setter to be able to have players like that can cover some ground and you're talking fractions of a second, right, to hit the ball right where it needs to be, and so the timing has to be there. But boy, when you've got some talent like that you mentioned, they're going to play volleyball at the next level this next year, and as a junior setter and shelf effer, that's a nice luxury to have.
Yeah. TJ Randall said we wanted to thank DeForest coach Scott Schumann, who was TJ called Scott and said, "Hey, can we play?" And Scott was all for it. And again, it's about giving the kids an opportunity to play, and it's kind of short notice, but boy, two of the better programs, not only in southern Wisconsin but in the state, showing us great plays like that. I think that was Compy out of the left side again.
Yep. And to your point with that, right? Like, you've got two programs and two coaches that like to compete, and there's a reason why they're successful. Why would you not want to play one of the other top programs in your division and close by for your kids so it's not a long bus ride and all those things that go into that? But you know you're going to have a really good match, and that's what we're seeing tonight.
TJ says, who knows what tomorrow brings, so it's awesome that coaches are willing to make things work out on short notice.
Right. And what we can't see, right, the girls are playing with the mask, but on the sideline, the girls are staggered, right, with 6 feet apart in their chairs. They have their own water bottle, their own backpacks. They can't even change in the locker rooms. They got to come ready to, all those little things that, like you said, we took for granted probably. Like, you get to a locker room and you feel the excitement and the buzz of the fans, and here they are and with the opportunity, like you said, and that's, again, they're resilient with this stuff, and it's fun as a parent to be able to watch your kid respond and recover and compete and just be excited about the chance to play again.
Boy, Natalie Compy with another big shot there for a point for DeForest. And they're hanging around here in the fourth set, 21-15. But it's a crucial time for the Norskis. They need to keep stringing points together. Think that hit the antenna?
Yeah, we've seen that a couple times tonight, right?
Yep. 22-15. Compy back in for the Norskis. This is a serve from Adding that doesn't quite get across the tape, so service error gives the point to the Norskis.
They just keep hanging around, right? They're just enough within striking distance to get a little bit of momentum here, and I wouldn't be surprised if Coach Rantala calls a timeout. But you can get a side out for some Prairie. Hang on, let them go.
There's the set. There's the kill. Well done by Sienna Rowling. Two points away from the match for Sun Prairie. The set and the swing from Eiselt. There's Rowling. Back set for Eiselt again. And into the net. Point DeForest.
A little self-defense by Haley. Went to the kill coming down at you quick. She wasn't able to get set underneath the ball, so she quick tried to get it up top and just push it in the net. Very hard to get out of there for anybody. And side out, like you said, but again, there's a 6-point cushion back and forth. Some Prairie's feeling pretty good. Just got to figure out a way to put it away.
That's a Sun Prairie point, another double hit. So it's match point, 24-17, Sun Prairie. That's Shelf Effer back to serve. Sun Prairie in a great spot here. And that is wide, and that will do it. 25-17, a fourth set win, and 3-1 for Sun Prairie.
In the end of the game wave, right? There's no handshakes or anything. That's what they do now, right?
Well, you'd want you'd have the crowd all fired up. You'd have the teams congratulating each other. We know the officials are leaving, so it must be over.
It's done, yeah.
And we're going to play a normal 3-set win match tonight.
Yeah.
And Sun Prairie opens its alternate season. They won the first two 28-26, 25-19. DeForest won the third, 25-23, and then Sun Prairie winning the fourth 25-17. A 3-1 win for the Cardinals. Good start for TJ Randall's team.
Good. I think for both squads, you saw some really good things, and Coach Schumann out of DeForest, I think he's got to be happy with some things. And again, it's a quick turnaround, right, with this stuff. So there's lots of things that both teams are going to improve on. And you know, the one thing that's really neat is we have a chance to do this broadcast for Sun Prairie, and there's going to be more. And you brought up the schedule for people that want to watch the Sun Prairie girls volleyball team play. The local access station here, Kids 4, right? A lot of people remember that way, right? Is going to be broadcasting these through the help of the high school, and so check back for more home games. I want to thank you for coming out last minute, right, with this. I don't know that we'll always be able to do this together, and I wouldn't count on us always doing this together. But I appreciate you coming out to do this, and I know the girls will too. And but it's fun for us to be back together. We did football for so long, and you missed that part of it. And for us, it's the same thing, right? We haven't done something in so long. There wasn't any fall sports and tournaments, and now we get a chance to get together a little bit.
Yeah.
That's a good thing. So thank you.
Well, when I got the text, I didn't hesitate. I'm like, I just had to check with my wife to see if we were watching anything on cable tonight, and everything was
then you
fine.
got the clear.
And then I got the all clear, and it was fun. And like you say, I mean, first match of the year, that was entertaining stuff. And I'm sure that DeForest and Sun Prairie is going to have both successful alternate seasons here, and we wish them well. We hope their schedule turns into a schedule, or at least close to what we think it's going to be.
Yep.
And good start to the alternate season.
Yeah, for sure. So
all
thank you. I appreciate
Scott,
it.
Thank you. And thank all of you for joining us. As Sun Prairie defeats DeForest 3-1. For Scott Nelson, Jay Wilson. Thanks again, and have a good evening from Sun Prairie.